GTA 5 is, as of 2023, a 10-year-old game, and though it's not unheard of, it is still a very impressive feat for an online game. That said, GTA is not the same as it used to be when it first came out. It went through numerous updates, some of them being graphical overhauls. In this video, we will be focusing mostly on the online side of things, seeing as that is the focus of the channel. That's not to say 5 isn't great on its own. If you haven't played through the campaign of 5 yet, that alone makes the game worth it playing right now. I won't be breaking this game down like I did with Fallout 76, where I practically showed every aspect of the game. Like I said, this is a 10-year-old open world game that is constantly being updated. There's a ton of stuff from petty crimes to what was I talking about? More serious crimes, yeah. Crimes, yeah. Yeah. There's not a real story that is specific to the online per se. Some of the missions that you can take do show characters from GTA 5 and what they have been up to.
Gangbanging like it's 91.
Some of them show new characters with completely unrelated stories.
Shot in the best porno ever made. I love you. You know that, right?
Some are pretty cool to see, some are not really. All in all, the focus are no longer on the characters of GTA 5, and it's just a brief life goes on kind of moment. That said, you can kind of make your own story as you go, as you buy your own businesses and whatnot to make your own criminal empire. There is, of course, a ton of different activities in this game as well. All the crime stuff we spoke of before, racing, illegal or otherwise, flight school, taxi job, arena wars, and so much more. There are also a ton of custom games and job lists that are apart from the main game. It gets you reputation points and some money, but it really doesn't matter if you do them or not, though a lot of players can make their own and share them with the world, and that is very cool. Heist prep and actually pulling off the heist are probably some of the more popular activities to do in GTA Online.
We all love banks!
Not only because it is generally what pays out the most, but because it can be fun to do with your friends. That said, there is a big difference between earlier heists and the more modern heists. Back in the day, everything was more strict and you had to have 4 people, even if you had to matchmake with randoms that have spotty internet or short patience. The newer ones only require you to have 2 players counting yourself. No need to fill out the other slots with a bunch of randoms. Which is great even if you are a solo player that still need to matchmake with at least 1. It is so much better to be at the mercy of 1 random person than 3 unrelated ones. Because in all the heists, both old and new, if someone quits or gets disconnected, no matter what point you are in the heist is over. It is a fail and you have to start all over again. With the newer heist, there are a lot more checkpoints from which you can restart if you do fail, as long as all the people who started the heist with you are still on there. Still, it is one of the most fun I've had with friends online, and it is akin to endgame raids in other online games. Aside from heists, this game has a lot of collectibles. And no, I don't mean the hundreds of things that you go around the map finding and picking up just for the sake of doing so. In literally every open world game, those are called collectibles because you can't technically collect it, but they shouldn't be called that because no real collector grabs hundreds of indistinguishable crap just to have. That's called hoarding and not collecting. So those should be called hoardables, not collectibles. Real collectibles, however, as you know, I am a guy who loves collecting things. Real collectibles in this game are the cars and outfits. Some people can say even guns, but you know, most of the guns you just straight out purchase from the gun shop, so you know, it's not as cool. But there are several outfits that you can earn through missions, events, secrets, and etc. But what really scratches my collector's itch are the cars. I mean, the name Grand Theft Auto says it all. Not only can you steal and or buy a bunch of different vehicles and cars, there are rare cars that spawn when specific requirements are met. And you can bet I went after all of those and had a blast doing it too. I made a video showing all of that, which I will link at the end of this video in case you are interested. As for the gameplay, well, because it is mainly an open world game, having a huge map you can explore with some Easter eggs hidden here and there, it goes without saying. You can also purchase houses, apartments, garages, offices, businesses, and etc. Some of which have activities and or missions of their own, which is great. But for a game that focuses on crime, the gunplay is honestly not that great. Don't get me wrong, it's still fun to shoot things, and it gets the job done. But anyone who has literally played any FPS before playing this won't call this a shooter game. There's nothing inherently wrong with the gunplay, it's just that it feels like you're just pressing buttons to kill things, instead of feeling each shot like it usually is with games that are focused on, well, you know, shooting. Again, nothing wrong with it, don't come at me in the comments, I have a soft heart. It just doesn't feel all that special, is what I'm trying to say. That said, what this game does really well is driving. And yeah, It won't feel like a racing simulator either, but it will definitely be up there with other arcade racing games, and I guess that is to be expected, since cars were always a big part of what this franchise is all about. Upgrading and customizing cars is definitely something a lot of people do enjoy in this game. But back to something that I feel like is a little lacking, is the crew system. There is a crew system here, but nothing crew specific. If you do jobs with your crew members, you get more rep, sure. Playing more means your crew gets to rank up, sure. But what really is the point here? We don't have any crew specific things, activities to do. There are no specific jobs for that. We can't go to war against other crews, nor interact with other crews, aside from the normal just see them on the road, shoot them, you know? It definitely would have been cool to have a crew-on-crew deathmatch sort of thing, and I think that is very lacking, because in other online games we do have a lot of clan versus clan stuff. And not only that, but ever since San Andreas, I had hoped to play an online game one day that would let us take regions and fight other crews for control of these regions and whatnot. And a lot of games do that, like in New World, different factions can take control of each of the regions, gaining advantages in said regions. And I think that's a huge missed opportunity here in GTA Online. And of course, with all that said, as with all online games, we must talk about the community. In a game where the focus is to steal and do other crimes, let's just say that the community aren't the nicest of people per se.
You sounding more and more like a snee-eye itch every day.
That's not to say you can't befriend or get help from other people here. It's just that a lot of people are wary of other players, and when they see someone driving around, they can't help but give in to their more primal nature of trying to see if they can kill them. And until very recently, there were too many hackers and cheaters around. Rockstar only recently decided to do something about it. And up until the beginning of 2023, it was actually difficult to find a public lobby that didn't at least have 1 or 2 hackers. I personally knew people who used to use Cheat Engine to give themselves money. Cheat Engine. That is like the lowest and simplest form of hacking, and they played for like 2 years using that without ever getting even a warning or anything. Eventually they did quit before Rockstar even found out, but I remember still thinking that there was no moderation in the GTA Online whatsoever. And with so many hackers, often public lobbies were near unplayable, as they could just kill everyone at once or just teleport everyone to a specific location even when you're in the middle of a mission just to mess around with you. This in general did make all the players just pretty much stay away from each other, be wary of each other, or just straight out shoot people on sight.
My job, my score, get your own!
Which of course does make it harder to befriend them. But like I said, Rockstar did start cracking down on the cheaters, banned a ton of them this year, which could have contributed to the decrease in number of their player base since so many people were cheating. But I think the decrease in the number of their player base could also have been due to the announcement of GTA 6 for 2024, in which they also announced that they had no more big updates planned for the current GTA Online. Because it is a game that it has been on for 10 years, most of the passionate players that are still playing, they're constantly just waiting for the next big update. But with the announcement that there won't be another one, many have quit. Not to mention that with GTA 6 on the horizon, grinding for money on GTA Online all day seems rather pointless since GTA most likely will have an online of its own eventually. So with all that said, is GTA Online worth it? And just like with most online games, it really depends. If you have never played this game before, or haven't in a long time, or just wants to check out what this game is all about before 6 comes around, then I think it's worth it. If you have a few friends that you just want to hang out and goof around in a modern open world, then yeah, this is definitely the game for you. But if you are a solo player who is looking for a main game, or someone who is already caught up with everything, then it probably doesn't make sense to play this for a long time since GTA 6 will be coming out next year, and it might be worth it to just wait for it to come out. But what do you think? Is it worth it? Let me know in the comments down below. And as you guys know, I don't often do review of games. The last one I did was Fallout 76 several months ago, and I personally would much rather just continue with the collecting videos. But I figured since I do play through most of the game while I'm collecting things, you know, it would be good to make a review just in case someone is interested in the point of view of someone who enjoys online games and who enjoys collecting things. But that is it for me, nerds. Leave a like, subscribe, and of course, always nerd on.